A dark storm pressed against the small wooden house as thunder rolled like a warning from the sky. Rain pounded the earth. Lightning flashed like a camera shutter, and in that split second, a wooden porch burst into flames. A young man stood frozen in the rain, tears mixing with smoke, whispering, "How did we end up here?" The story rewinds to that morning when the storm hadn't arrived yet, and the world felt quieter. Old Walter Hayes, frail and coughing, sat on his porch watching his two grown sons, Luke, wild and fearless, and Evan, sharp and quietly dangerous. He called them close, his voice trembling with age and disappointment. "Here," he said, handing them each a $20 bill. "Bring me something that proves you boys can stand in this world without cheating it." The brothers exchanged a competitive smirk, each believing he'd impress their father more than the other. Luke set out toward a dusty ranch where a stubborn bull, notorious for injuring ranchers, kicked violently inside its pen. The rancher laughed when Luke offered his 20. "Son, that bull don't listen to God himself." Minutes later, Luke was thrown into dirt, ribs aching, pride bruised, but he refused to quit. He stood, hand shaking, placed it gently on the bull's neck, whispered, "Just once, let me win." Miraculously, the bull stilled. By afternoon, Luke rode it into the county fair, shocking everyone. A wealthy farm owner bought the bull for $800, clapping Luke on the back, saying, "Kid, you've got grit." Luke smiled proudly, unaware everything would change that night. Meanwhile, Evan stepped into a dusty pawn shop, where a mysterious traveler, an older woman with silver hair and sharp eyes, named Mirabelle, handed him a cracked mirror from under the counter. "Careful," she said softly. "Mirrors tend to reveal what people fear most." Evan smirked. "Good. Fear pays well." He walked straight to the mayor's mansion. The mayor, proud and paranoid, stared at the mirror as Evan whispered, "This shows the dead. If your conscience is clean, you'll see your parents smiling." The mayor leaned closer, eyes trembling. He saw only himself, his breath caught, his face paled, but he couldn't bear the shame of truth. I see them," he lied. "They're happy." Evan politely nodded, holding back a smirk, and walked out with $1,200 and a mayor desperate to hide the mirror forever. Night arrived with a storm, and both boys returned home with swollen pride. They dropped their earnings in front of Walter as if laying treasure at a king's feet. Lightning cracked. The wind howled. Walter stared at the money, not impressed, heartbroken. "Tell me," he whispered, "which part of this made you better men?" Before either son could respond, a gust of wind knocked a lantern from the porch railing. Flames crawled across the old wooden boards like hungry beasts. Luke lunged toward the money, but Walter grabbed his wrist with surprising strength. "Let it burn," he said, voice steady. "Anything built on lies deserves to turn to ash." The brothers stood helpless as the storm and fire battled around them. Their hard-earned, but dishonestly earned, money turning black and weightless. Luke's throat tightened. Evan's eyes filled with something he hadn't felt in years. Regret. By dawn, the fire died. The rain stopped, and the porch was nothing but smoke and memory. Walter sat with his sons wrapped in blankets, all three exhausted but strangely connected for the first time in years. Walter placed a hand on each son's shoulder. "Money comes and goes," he whispered, "but character, that's the only thing you can't rebuild once it burns." Luke lowered his head. Evan exhaled shakily, and together, quietly, they picked up the first pieces of wood to rebuild the porch, not for the house, but for each other.